The Hungarian Grand Prix has always been a race where strategy, speed, and nerves collide on a track that rewards precision and punishes the slightest mistake. But on this particular day, the atmosphere at the Hungaroring turned from anticipation to shock in the span of a single second. Jorge Martin, one of the most aggressive and talented riders in MotoGP, was at the center of a multi-rider crash that sent cars and bikes tumbling across the circuit, leaving fans stunned and the racing community holding its breath. It was a moment that no one wanted to see, a moment that reminded everyone how dangerous motorcycle racing can be, and a moment that will be remembered for years to come. Jorge Martin is not just another MotoGP rider. He is a champion, a title contender, and a pilot who has built his reputation on speed, courage, and an unshakable belief in his own ability to win. He has won races, he has stood on the podium, and he has shown the world that he has the talent to be a world champion. But on this day, on this track, in this race, he found himself in a situation that no rider wants to face. A crash that started with him, that involved multiple riders, and that left the entire field in chaos. The moment came at a high-speed corner, where the pace was fast, the gaps were tight, and the margin for error was razor-thin. Martin's bike lost traction, the rear end slid out from under him, and the bike and rider were thrown into the air. The impact was violent, the kind of crash that leaves no doubt about the forces at play. What happened next is what made the crash more than just a moment of violence. It became a moment of hope, of grief, and of admiration. The safety crews were already moving before the bikes came to a complete stop, racing toward the wreckage with the speed and precision that only years of practice can create. The medical team worked tirelessly to stabilize the riders, and the hospital staff did everything they could to ensure they received the best care possible. In the hours that followed, the news came. Jorge Martin was okay, but several other riders were injured, and some of them would require a long and grueling recovery. For fans watching on television, the crash played out like a blur of color and noise. The camera caught the moment the bikes left the ground, the moment the sparks flew, and the moment the smoke filled the air around them. The grandstands, which had been a roar of cheers just seconds earlier, went quiet for a moment, as if the entire crowd held its breath, waiting for the first sign that the riders were okay. In that silence, every watcher knew that the lives of these riders were hanging in the balance, and that the difference between a career-ending injury and a fatal crash could be measured in millimeters. What makes Jorge Martin's story so moving is not just the crash itself, but the way he has handled it since. He has not given up. He has not let the news of the crash define him. Instead, he has begun the long process of moving forward, working with his team, his engineers, and his family to rebuild his confidence, to learn from the mistake, and to find a new way forward. He has spoken publicly about the pain, about the fear, and about the uncertainty of what the future holds. But he has also spoken about the hope, about the love of his fans, and about the determination to keep fighting. His words are not just about survival. They are about resilience, about the kind of strength that comes not from the body, but from the heart. For the MotoGP community, Jorge Martin's crash is a reminder of the risks that come with the sport, but it is also a reminder of the courage that it takes to step onto the track. He was not just a rider. He was a symbol of what is possible when someone refuses to let the world tell them what they can't do. The crash is not the end of his story. It is a new chapter, one that will be written with the same courage, the same determination, and the same spirit that defined his entire career. The road ahead will be harder, but Jorge Martin has always been built for hard roads. He has always been built for the long fight. If you've ever felt the tension of a close racing battle, if you've watched a rider risk everything on the edge of control, or if you've admired the courage it takes to step onto a motorcycle at 200 miles per hour, take a moment to acknowledge Jorge Martin's effort and his resilience. Please like this video if you found his story moving, and if you're someone who follows the lives and legacies of the athletes who risk everything on the track, consider subscribing to this channel. Together, we can keep remembering the people who push the limits of speed, skill, and courage, one race at a time.